is the child support card.
Well, we still need to address the question of the day.
So, a quick reminder: the question of the day is in dealing with the rape culture. What are some of the better ways to get the message out there and raise awareness? We're going to talk about that. We're going to go into that heavily. I want to do the child support card, get that out the way, because this is going to be something I think this is going to be the show right here.
Yeah,
so y'all get your answers ready for this this whole thing on rape culture. I know a few of you made posts on Facebook about it. A few of you were in on our conversations about it, and I really want to get some good dialogue going. But child support cards, they're in one state. What is it? Montana? One particular state.
I thought it was Washington.
It really could be.
I think
Washington has what they refer to as a child support card, where the man, Delaware, it was Delatana.
These Delaware.
They have a child support card where as the father, the male, or whatever, the person that pays child support, you load money onto a card, and that debit card you can't cash it out. But you can use it to pay for things, but you can only pay for things that make sense as it refers to the child. So you can't go to happy hour with it. You can't buy an outfit with it. You can't even get gas with it. You have to do things that are, and I think gas is actually a necessity for a kid, but whatever, you can't even get gas with it. You have to do things that they deem appropriate for a child, like buying food, medical supplies, things of that nature. I like the idea. I'm not opposed to it. But it gets tricky to me because money it comes from different places, and
it goes to different places.
It is hard to, on a certain month, you may need to dip into the child support for your, and I don't take like you should be able to have fun. Maybe because of what you had to pay at a certain time of the month, out of your check had to go to the kids something. But you're waiting on the child support to come in later on, and you may need to put that money back into getting your hair done for work, or dry cleaning, but because you had to spend the money out of that first check to take care of that, you never get it back on that end. So I'm like, damn, I know that's gonna fuck some ladies up at some point. It maybe not all the time, maybe not predominantly, maybe this is what you have to do to keep women from abusing the system. But I know at some point there's gonna be a woman who's doing all the right things, and she's still gonna get fucked by that. However, I'm more for it than I am against it. But I am sensitive to that. There's going to be at some point where, because the money came this way and then they had to pay that bill with the check and then this, somebody's going to get fucked at some point in that system. But I think the greater good outweighs that, maybe. That's where I'm at. I don't know, guys.
I definitely think that there needs to be some sort of stipulations involved in how this money is spent, because of those types of things that can happen. Those incidental transactions that happen when you're a parent. I know nothing about them, but I know friends. I have friends who have children, and occasionally they do dip into the child support to pay for something. And if that's the case, then maybe there is a system in place where they can provide proof of having to pay this money, and they would need to be reimbursed through the child support for it. But I feel like there are a lot of women who do abuse child support, and for those women, if there is proof, if there's some sort of proof that can be provided that they abuse the child support, then this is who this program is designed for. Because I do know women who will intentionally use their child support to pay their rent, and they know that they have that as a backup. So they don't necessarily look for full employment. They look for apartments and stuff that they can live in that are covered by that particular child support. And the kid still suffers out of it. Like, you would have to pay rent regardless. So child support should not necessarily go towards it. Yeah, I understand you live in bigger places depending on like how many kids and stuff you have. But like a large majority of that you already were going to have to pay anyway as a human just to live day to day. So that's my 2 cents on it. There definitely need to be some sort of checks and balances, some sort of systems in place.
Yeah, not to belabor this topic too much, but I have very, very real experience with this scenario. Let me just say that. Let me also say that within the context of child support, it is almost impossible to perfectly monitor where the money goes and why it goes to different places. And honestly, I'm going to say what my lawyer said to me. That is not your job as a father, right? Because you relinquished that control when you decided to, or when both of you decided to break up the context of a contiguous family. Now you have two different families, two different, essentially, financial organizations that have their own autonomy, right? I think that this type of measure would be something that you would put in place when the woman, despite, egregious, or not, I won't say egregious, but lavish child support, has trouble maintaining her finances, right? If this chick is getting $7,000 a month for child support and she still can't pay her house note and she still is crying for money, then it's time to put her on a card and it's time to regulate her spending, because she can't manage her own money, and that's a problem. Which means that not only is the child support getting abused, everything else is, right? But if you do this and you restrict women this way, off break, or anyone who's getting child support, because women and men get child support, frankly, you kind of hamstring the parent in that situation, because that money is needed for things that probably aren't on the list. And these people have to live and manage their finances the same way everyone else does. You know what I'm saying? So, again, I pay child support, but I think that this needs to be better managed than what I'm seeing right now, personally.
I think that the card should only be used in situations where the woman has been proven to be abusing it. Because
Exactly.
as somebody who lived with a mother from the age of 8 on, who did not, my father was very much a part of my life, and my father contributed financially when I was with him. But still, when I was with my mother, that child support was really important to us. There a lot goes into a child, other than just the things that are proper
Absolutely.
on the card
Absolutely.
to be used.
Absolutely.
So I think that you can really, really hamper a woman's ability to raise her children if you institute this type of program. I think there is such a thing as the government being too involved in our personal lives, and I think this is one of the instances. We do have to take responsibility as adults, and yeah, I'm not comfortable with it and all, because I know that it'll be abused. I know that there will be men out there who are like, you know what, I feel some type of way because you don't want to be with me. You know what, I'm going to apply for you to be on this program.
And that's
because
where they need to have proof.
But proof might even be in the eye of the beholder. Somebody say, oh well, she went out last night. There's so many different things, and the thing is with the law system and how I know that it works is there's just such a fine line between just doing too much with the court systems, being a little too controlling, and just from knowing single mothers who have shitastic baby fathers, that honestly who have to have their wages garnished or don't even call the kid or just ignore the kid. I don't want my friends to be hampered that way, because it's already hard enough with the little tiny piece of change that some of my friends get.
Yeah, on the other side, there are women who are abusing this. They're
Yes,
taking that
you're
money
right.
and getting hair, makeup, weaves, and trips
Right.
and shit. And not even, I consider
Yeah,
rent
they-
important.
Rent is important.
Rent is
Rent to me
important.
is a
Rent
burden.
is part of child
Spending
support.
the entire
I
child
agree,
support
but
on your rent.
right, and those women, you shouldn't. But I'm speaking to a lower level of woman, the one that's using that shit to buy outfits, the one that's using that shit to go to the club. So
I'm talking about the woman
You still
who
shouldn't be
works-
using that whole thing for rent.
Right.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I
agree.
I agree with you. I agree with that 100%. So this card is the checks and balance for the women who are abusing the system. So I think we're both now that's what saying, men will start to do that. Nah, I'm gonna put you on the card out of spite. But women have been doing that to men forever. So it's kind of like
Two wrongs don't make a right.
I'm not saying men
I
are
understand
looking
what you're
for
saying.
balance.
I understand, but
There-
the thing is the world is not balanced, and unfortunately, we cannot rely on the government to do all these things for us. The government is swollen to the point of bursting as it is now. And I'm not a Republican by any standard, but the government is too big. It is just way too big at this point, and we cannot micromanage child support.
But they're micromanaging the men on it. You say just don't micromanage the
How are
women.
we micromanaging the men?
They are
you're
they
right.
are definitely micromanaging the men.
How are you micromanaging the men?
I'll tell you.
No, that's what I would like to know.
Yeah, I'll tell you
I'm
exactly
surprised you
how.
don't know.
Because in a child support situation, the man's finances, typically, are broken down in a gross level of detail.
Okay.
A gross level of detail.
Okay.
And what happens is a percentage is taken off of the top,
Okay.
not the bottom, the top.
Okay.
Look, now, understand carefully what the implication of that is. So any expenses that you have in your life, anything you've done to build a life for yourself, anything you've done to manage the existence of your children in the interim, which is typically involves a separation period. And again, I'm not talking about poop fathers. I'm talking about niggas who...
I understand what you're saying.
Okay, yeah, just preface that. What happens is a percentage is taken, and whatever is left, that's what you got to deal with. So whatever you had going on in your life, up until that decision was made, that's it. All of that shit has to change. Pretty much a deadline is placed on your finances at that particular point.
I don't see how that's micromanaging.
Okay, well, I'll add this. Like people, like if you miss a couple payments, you can have your driver's license taken, which can impede your ability to work. And women are.
If you miss 2 payments in Georgia, you go to jail.
Okay.
Yeah, and shit
Jail.
happens. You may miss a payment, and then people are like I know. Well, I don't say that, but I do know several people.
So I consider
who are-
micromanaging to be going into the minutia and messing with things. That's what micromanaging is when you go into the minutia of an everyday activity. You're not talking about micromanaging. This is a macro look. Wait. What you guys are talking about is a macro look, and I understand that. And I do think that the child support system is unfair in some places. But the fact is that there are babies out here that are just suffering. And the thing is whatever is best for the damn babies, that's what I'm for. So it does not
But
matter.
the car doesn't seem like it's the best.
Not all the time, no.
But and neither does send fathers to jail because they can't afford a payment. Doesn't sound like
Okay,
the best for the child either.
but see,
But
now you're doing the thing of like but this is wrong with that. No, I'm not talking about that.
What I'm saying is we have something that's in place right now.
Yeah.
That's fucked up for men.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, something needs to be done.
Mm-hmm.
This is in direct what do you call it? Reaction to
Okay.
that. We gotta fix this shit. Too many
I
men
understand.
are being abused. Let's
Okay.
put this in place now.
Okay.
And you're like, well, put that in place and start fucking with the women. And it's like, so?
Oh,
To a
now-
degree. You know what I'm saying? Because men are already being okay.
I don't think I said that.
Okay.
I don't think I ever said so. I've
I-
never
you-
said
I
so.
think-
Because I have friends who are going through this currently and cannot see their children. So
You just-
no, I was with a man who his ex-wife used child support and his child as a weapon against him. So no, don't insult me with that, please. You know, I definitely care about the plight of my black men. Don't do that.
What you say sounded a little different. And I was like, well.
Well, no, I'm just saying that this might not be the best solution. And what I'm saying,
I'm with that.
all I'm saying is micromanaging is just not. It's not gonna work. It's just not gonna work. It's just not gonna work.
I agree with that. Frankly, I don't disagree with some of the penalties that are placed on men who don't pay child support. Personally, I feel like it is my obligation to my children to pay child support, so I'm always going to do that. Other men don't feel that way. It requires the law, unfortunately. With some of these women, it requires the law. I think the difficulty with this and the balance is, when does the government step in, and
Right.
how do they step?
How far
step
do you
in?
go into my life?
Okay,
right?
so but again, so there is a very
It's
very
difficult.
clear way that we delineate financial solvency in the United States. If you can pay your fucking bills and you keep paying your bills, then you're good. If you can't, then you're not. And what we are trying to do is we are trying to avoid situations where women are not managing their finances and they are relying on this external thing to make their financial existence happen in total.
And
Right.
I totally understand. I definitely
Okay.
say that is a problem. I'm just saying let's recognize the fact that this is a program that will be abused, just like the program for child support is abused. Because it is
Absolutely.
abused.
I agree.
So it's
I think
just
that's a fair
the
statement.
thing that I just want to make sure is that I just don't think that more government intervention is the answer. I just don't think so. Because if it's not working, I just don't see it. And then I know the implications. I know that there's going to be men out there that are like, you know what, you're a bitch. You don't want to be with me. Cool. I'm going to make your life harder. Just because I know that that's going to happen. The government is already used as a tool against our people. So I don't want to give them another freaking tool to go in and make it even freaking harder. And I understand, and I understand, and I'm not saying there's an easy solve to it. But the thing is, the child support situation as a whole in this country is just messed up. The fact that they go off of gross earnings, that's trash. That makes no sense to me. That's dumb. But as we know, that's just kind of how it is. The government shouldn't the government just has too much. It's already, they just have too many fingers in my life already. That's how I feel. I don't like the fact that they can tell me already so much what to do with my life, tell me how to raise my children. Now you also want to tell me how to spend the money. I understand that there are people abusing it, but that is the thing about having government programs. They will be abused. That is just the fact of humans.
And I'm with you. The only caveat I add to that is there are men who are suffering disproportionately because of this.
Definitely.
And they're looking for some kind of reprieve.
Wait,
What
did
do
you say
I-
disproportionately? I'm not going to say disproportionately. I'm going to take back my agree. But I agree that there are men suffering. I will not say disproportionately because it is. I know too many single black women. Too many women in general who are suffering. That I'm not calling children a suffering, but when you have children and you don't have any help at all, it is hard.
I know a lot more who don't have support.
Yes, I know a lot more that don't have support.
And I know a lot of men who are. I was just alerted to a story, not a story, but just some shit that from niggas I know. I guess last week, where no driver's license, no passport, everything fucked up, and has been in the child's life the entire time, couldn't make all the payments. I was like, well, damn. So what you gonna do about a job? Like all your shit fucked up. Like all your bank account frozen. I'm like, shit.
That's true, but at the same time, we also have to recognize that people are adults and that you have to take some kind of responsibility. Because the thing is yes, when you have that child with you for a couple days out of the week, that is nothing like taking care of the child 5 days out of the week. Wait. And so that's all I'm saying. So for when I hear men are complaining about not having this because, when I have them, they're taken care of, but I don't give their mother money. That's unacceptable.
Well, I agree. I agree with you. That ain't my point, though.
Okay, hold on. That's all I'm saying. And what I'm saying, I'm not saying that's your point. But I'm saying that there are men out there that act like that. And I have friends who their baby's father only owes them $200 a month. While when they send their child to daycare, that's $500 a week. And I'm like, well, shit, that little 200 ain't nothing. That's a drop in the bucket. Can you even feed the baby with 200 a month? Like me, I goddamn, that's a grown baby. So the fact is yes, there's a problem. But at the same time, a lot of men also like to say okay, I have a friend whose baby father has $300 a month taken out of his check, and he complains to her every single month. Doesn't call the baby, doesn't do anything else, doesn't send the baby money. Just this $300. I already get $300 out of my check. $300? Get out of here with that.
I'm with you on that. I think just really quickly, the only thing that bothers me with that is that's that scenario. I'm talking about the scenarios where men are doing damn near everything, they missed a payment or two, and they're suffering. So the quote unquote fuck niggas, take their money, do whatever they do. I give a fuck about them. They don't even come up in it. My father was like that. I'm a nigga I was a kid whose father never contributed no money to my life ever. From birth to 41. Ain't give my mother shit, ain't give me shit, ain't give my aunt shit. Right. So yeah, he should have been on child support. Yeah. He should have been, I agree. But that ain't the scenario I'm talking about.
Well, there's going to be exceptions to every situation. Yeah. So we're kind of arguing.
Let me wrap that. Let me wrap this up real quick, and then we'll move on to other points. There does need to be a change in this system, and the states who are enacting this law are trying to achieve balance. It's going to take work, though. It's going to take an evolutionary process. That law needs to be modified a little bit, and hopefully it will be, to be more equitable, so that we achieve a kind of balance. Because here's the other thing about child support, y'all. You lose your job as a man, that does not excuse you from child support. You get laid off from work, that does not excuse you from child support. So if I'm laid off or I'm fired because some shit happened at my job, then I'm facing losing my license or going to jail.
And that's wrong.
Because
there should be a program that you can apply to and say, hey, I'm not making any money. What are you taking from me? But if you go
to court, that also costs money. So you can't even go to court and fix that situation.
Right. I agree.
These are the.
But welcoming them in with this card is going to give them more avenues like that. That's all I'm saying. So I'm done.
It's one state.
Obviously,
it's one state. It's an experiment.
Yes.
We'll see how it plays out.
There it is.
Just raising awareness. Moving on to our question of the day.
Yes.
Our topic of the day, which has been the topic of the last couple months, and we spent numerous moments on this show discussing it, and on social media discussing it in our Facebook group, and on Facebook and Twitter and everything in general. Rape culture in America. we were discussing it already last week, and in the middle of our discussion online, someone posted a video about Charlamagne the God on Friday, where from Breakfast Club, where he was discussing rape culture. He gave himself the Donkey of the Day. If you don't know, we have our Shut Up Stupid Award. He has his Donkey of the Day award, and it's for somebody who did some stupid shit. So he gave it to himself because he couldn't believe how long it took for him to fully grasp the fact that rape culture was real.
That was mine.
JB and over there. JB.
Hey, Gelvin, JB done stole another
JB
clothes.
done stole another clothes.
I stole her clothes.
In his
That's
house,
my
he
fault.
steals clothes. Actually,
No,
just
anywhere.
he steals
Anywhere.
clothes. That's why I stopped and said actually anywhere he steals
Anywhere,
clothes.
anywhere I do.
He
yeah,
steals
I
clothes.
I
That's
see him
true.
laying there. They get smoked.
And he actually in my drink.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
Where it come from?
It fell off of the clothes, man. I didn't do that on purpose, man. I'm sorry.
Poor
We ain't
JB, I'm
spoken.
sorry.
Like, damn.
okay,
Look
it's
where
okay.
like, yeah.
Yeah,
What the?
this is so
Her
great.
cup
This
is
is
not
so
in a weird
great.
place.
This is so
That's
great.
my clothes and my drink.
This is so great. This is so. Hey,
You
yeah,
really think I
this
just-
is our life, yeah.
Think
This is
happened.
what we do.
That's
This is
what
what
you
we
think
do.
happened. You really think I
Yeah,
just-
y'all.
I gotta give you a
This
hard
ain't even
time.
the show. This is just what happens when we around each other, yo. This is a typical day.
This is really our life. Like even our discussions on the show, like this is really like what happens in like real life. We'll just all of a sudden be on some crazy shit
every
Yes.
goddamn day.
every day. Oh my god.
Yeah, I steal clothes, y'all. Don't
Every
sit
day.
at-
Don't leave
sit
your
at
clothes
home.
around JB.
Nope, I'll
Don't
smoke
leave
that
your
And
motherfucker.
don't leave your
around me.
and don't leave your man around me.
Hey, breaker of men.
Break a minute.
Let all these hoes know none of they niggas is
I
safe.
can't let these hoes know
None of they niggas is safe.
Who was that, Cardi B?
Yes.
It sounded like Cardi B.
Kodak Yellow. Yeah.
But that's what I song?
Yeah, that's from that song.
that
See?
part. I be time we in the car. I need you to let all these hoes know that. I'm sorry.
She be so turned.
Beating on JB?
But she see how turned she
Revenge.
gets. Every time that song is over, she can be quiet the whole song, but that one part has to be belted out with the arms, like yes. Y'all don't understand.
So you gonna tell us?
So
Oh, let's get into it.
let's rewind it because we're going to get to a serious topic.
Yes.
So, Charlamagne the God gave himself the Donkey of the Day award because he couldn't believe that so much time had gone by without him fully grasping rape culture and knowing that we as men were raised in it. He specifically identified men born in the 70s and 80s as being brought up on rape culture. And he says that, Freaknik, Bike Week, Miami, South Beach, Memorial Day weekend, in the way that we behave. I'll say for myself in the Go-Go's in D.C. or I guess in the clubs in Atlanta or wherever you're from, just the way we behave and the way we act around women. And the ladies, we've been talking about this for months now, trying to, raise our awareness of it. And then in them raising our awareness of it, it brought up more questions for us. Like, wait a minute, so what about that time when I was at the what's the name? Oh, okay. So what about this? I don't agree. I think that wasn't that. And so we've been going back and forth on different things and just trying to learn, trying to educate ourselves and trying to get a better understanding so that we can take the message out and kind of champion the cause. Because last night in particular, I think we had a very good exercise that was done. You came up with it once you
I
described it. You came up with it once you described it.
So basically, we were having this conversation, and I wanted them to really have a real life understanding of what it's like for us in the club, because we were talking about going out this upcoming weekend, and I made a comment about being able to dress a certain type of way because I'd be with them. But once I get out on the dance floor with her, all bets were off. Like, because then it ushers in
You
a
have to
whole.
run
Can I
Gauntlet.
just say how interesting it was? I just want to point out that I was not part of the like I was like in my phone, not noticing, like not listening. Mel said this exact thing. Oh, I can dress a certain way with y'all, but then when I go on the dance floor, I'm gonna be a little worried. I tuned in after
missed
that,
that
like
whole
after
part.
that, and she said, "Oh, well, I can dress a certain way because I'm there." And I was like, "Well, what about when we go on the dance floor though?" Because and all the guys were like, "Wait,
She just said the same
y'all weren't
thing.
listening. Y'all just said the same exact thing." We were like, "Well, yes." Because we're women.
Right.
This is how we think about the world.
Right.
Which is okay that we
Which
think
is
about
what
it differently.
Brought up this whole exercise
Yes.
of me having all the men in the room stand up in like a group setting, and then Alexis and I kind of went around and we showed them what it's like for us in the club. So we kind of felt them up, tugged on them a little bit. We were really
Whispered in their
inappropriate.
ear.
Yeah, said all kinds of
Flashed the
inappropriate shit
phone.
to them. Like, yeah, and they felt real uncomfortable. And I think, and that was like the highlight for me. Like, because it was one thing when y'all heard us say the same thing separately. But when y'all actually went through that experience with us, it kind of, I saw the light bulbs go off in your heads. Like, oh my God. Like, and not to put any shame on y'all, but like y'all have either been a part of it or like known somebody who's contributed to that sort of behavior. So it definitely highlighted a lot for me and for y'all to like really grasp what women deal with on a regular basis when we're out in those environments. We're really in a situation where we're fighting for survival. Like we have no idea how it's gonna go. You hear every week where
The club's supposed to be a fun place.
No, not all the time. Not all the time.
I mean, but you hear all the time where women get shot for telling a man no because she didn't want to give him her telephone number. So in those environments, in the club and stuff, it's even hard. Well, I won't say even harder, but like it's really hard. And, you know, when we're with our girls, you know, we walk around in a certain way to protect ourselves so that way we don't get separated from the pack.
Can I make a quick mention before
go
you
ahead.
continue? I just want to make a quick mention to the fellas that are watching this. In no way are we shaming you for saying, like, if you have operated in this way, we're not shaming you. We're just asking you to take a look at your behavior. You know, just like white people who don't realize the microaggressions that happen to black people every day. They don't realize how black people have to move through the world a little bit differently.
It's a very good
the exact
analogy.
same thing.
Very good analogy.
So, and I know we had that article that came out about, you know, black men are the white people of, and that's what we mean when we say that. It's like you guys don't realize sometimes that you all perpetuate these same things, you all lives matter things. So, and it's not, we're not pointing this out to shame you, we're pointing it out because we care and we want you to care. And we want you to realize that when we say this, and sometimes it doesn't come out in the best of ways, and I know you've had a problem with that before, but there's a reason they're said the way they are, to create a visceral response, to make you think about it, make you talk about it. And that's why we are where we are. So I'm gonna let Mel take back over, but I just, like I said, don't be shamed. Just think about what you do. Ask a woman this thing that Mel came up with, this exercise. Next time you're in a group setting, ask about it. Or if you have a female friend, just go up to her and say, hey, can you show me what it's like when you're in the club? I bet she will give you the exact same demonstration that we gave our group of friends yesterday. And it'll be really eye-opening. So, yeah.
I'm done.
It was certainly eye-opening for me, that exercise in particular. I think one of the things that happens to a lot of men, I know it happened to me personally, is when you are exposed to this statement, when you're exposed to this concept, you initially think, well, that can't be me. I'm not the one who is doing this. I'm not, like, I'm a gentleman, you know. I respect women. I love, you know. I don't do this shit. And then you look up and you see it and you feel it and it's described to you specifically, and it's like, I have to think about everything now. I have to question a lot of different things that happen in my life now. And because as a man, I have a code. I have an honor code. And that code involves an extremely high respect and esteem for women, and a desire to protect them. And you look at yourself and say, was I a part of this? And whether I was or not, it's part of my responsibility to fix this. You know, whether or not I actually did this as a person individually, I have to accept the fact that this is going on. I have to accept the fact that this is a part of my women's lives, you know, and that's rugged to deal with. That's a really, really tough thing to internalize. And my question to our viewers is, as men, as people, you know, how do you fix this? Or how do you change this? How do we evolve this situation? And I mean specifically, you know, because it's not just a matter of changing your own perspective or modifying your own conduct. I think it starts with that. You have to change the way you behave. If you're doing this shit, fucking stop, please. Number one.
But yeah, I think what we have to do is explain what doing this shit is.
Bingo, big fucking go.
So I do
Yes.
want you guys to take a look at the comments. My iPad died,
reading them.
so I don't know what everybody's saying, but you do want to get to some of their comments.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I guess it's rape culture. That's the term that we're using, and it's like being in a club and maybe like grabbing a woman's hand. I'm famous for that. I'm famous for being in the club. Now I think it's non-threatening. I think it's kind of like, to me, that's like I didn't grab a butt, didn't grab a shoulder, didn't grab an arm, didn't grab a hand, introduce myself.
But I think it's
I
because
see
you don't
you
know
say-
that other men are doing it, and you're not an asshole. Whereas a lot of men are assholes, and we get primed to, as soon as a man grabs us, I'm thinking you're an asshole. It's like, who the fuck do you think you
We're
are touching me?
automatically defensive.
Automatically, I'm defensive. Why are you touching me? So, and men don't understand, but men aren't aware of it because you're not aware that it's happening.
And this the real mindfuck. I'm gonna close now. This the real mindfuck. If
Your clothes
you,
from JB?
yeah, you from JB. If you're attractive enough or charming enough, you can get away with some of this rape culture shit. That's the mindfuck. That's the mindfuck. I don't nobody be like, oh, you was touching me. Like I get away with a lot of bullshit that I didn't know was bullshit until people brought it up. I'm like, oh, you saying that, but I do that shit all the time. Nobody said it to me.
Like, yeah, that doesn't
Yeah.
make it okay.
And no, and
Right. But that's the mindfuck. Because,
Right.
and I'm talking like to me, not to me. I'm talking to the me that's watching.
Yeah.
And somebody out there is like, hey, like when I do it.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's been my thing. Like,
And I don't think a lot of
Right.
men realize how often, because we were talking about before the show too, about how even just we all had like a little discussion on Facebook a couple days ago about tweens basically. It was an argument. No, it wasn't. No.
Beat me up.
You're sensitive.
No.
But I'm just
That's
kidding.
a
I'm just
mental
kidding.
aggression.
I'm just
Ouch,
kidding.
ouch.
Oh, whatever. It was basically saying, it was a message to tween girls saying, hey, tween girls, blue balls is just an excuse to have you to do something, say poor baby and leave. Which to me is perfect advice because as a woman who used to be a tween girl, very often in Mel, I'm sure you can co-sign this, I was told, oh, well, you're going to get blue balls. And I was like, okay. But the thing is, as a tween woman, and I know how difficult it was to be pressured, and it's scary when you're coming up as a tween woman. It's really quite scary. All the images that are in TV and movies, and the fear that you do carry as a woman, knowing that pretty much any man can overpower you. I know that a lot of men don't think about that. I know I've talked to men about, like men have said to me, well, why don't y'all just say no? I don't understand why y'all don't just believe in the power of no. It's like, well, do you realize that women get beaten, women get shot, women get stabbed, because they said no? I mean, there was a woman who was grabbed on at a parade, and she just asked the man to stop dancing on her, and she got shot in the face. Stuff like that men don't understand. Women real life think about this all the time. Just moving through the streets, moving through the club, just like Mel said. We even demonstrated to them the way that women move through clubs. When y'all make the jokes about, oh, women go to the bathrooms in groups, there's a reason.
Yes.
We go for safety. Because if you don't, you can be going through the club. Mel and I showed women do this line thing where we all grab each other's hands and walk through the club. And you do that because when a man grabs you in the club and stops you, then your friends know to stop with you and to watch you and make sure that you don't get taken anywhere. So I think that men talk to women, and Facebook isn't always the best way to do it because a lot of things are lost in text. But talk to the women in your life. Talk to your mother. Talk to your sister. Talk to just anyone that you're comfortable with reaching. Say, hey, I really want, I really care about this. I really want to learn about it. And the thing is that we need to point out too is a lot of women don't know what rape culture is. A lot of women don't understand. Sometimes men are abused as well, and we need to recognize that. And we need to stop making a joke of it because there are men that I've heard of being raped. I've had friends who have been afraid to say that they got raped because they're a man and they don't want to be looked at as anything less than. So I think it's really important to recognize all the signs of rape culture and know that it's not, rape culture is not, something I just said on Facebook was, rape is not always the violent act you see on TV. Sometimes rape is a woman after 4 or 5 hours of struggling, giving in. Sometimes it's, a girl saying yes because she's being physically barred from leaving the place. It's not always what you see. Date rape, rape most often occurs between people that know each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that needs to be talked about. It's not always just in an alley and somebody grabs you and takes you. And I've spoken to a lot of women that have had that experience. So I think it's just the fact of, like JB was saying, bringing people. I think one of y'all. Of bringing people to the awareness.
Both of us.
Yeah, both of y'all. Bringing people to the awareness that this is a problem.
Absolutely.
yeah.
And I want to, this is going to be kind of beside the point, but I think this is very, very important, how the message is delivered. Because a lot of times, I feel like I have a new awareness. And I've been in this particular space, I think, for a lot of this year. just with everything that's going on. And I'll credit you, ladies, with the conversations we've had. So I see myself as a proponent of change. I see myself as not one of the good guys, but as somebody who's kind of that knows what. Yeah, that's right. That knows what rape culture is now, and has a good idea as of right now. And like, oh shit, okay. So I'm trying to be more vocal per your particular request. Like even on Facebook and everything, when I see a nigga say something,
Which
like,
I've
hold up.
I've noticed. Thank you for that. I've noticed him come in and say, "Hey, man, that's not what it is." And men are more likely to listen to men. So go ahead.
And it's a weird thing when you do that, and the women still kind of attack you. And it's like, well, goddamn, I'm on your side. I'm getting on other niggas. I'm enlightening niggas. I'm doing this and doing that. But I don't agree with, and I won't agree with, and I'm good for it. I won't. When these, use the word, microaggressions are put into the delivery of the message. It's like to say, well, sometimes men do this, and this is unfair, and this is incorrect, and it should be done this way, and we don't appreciate it. I can rock with that. I'll take that meme, I'll post it, and I'll say, niggas, get it together. When it's like, yeah, this, and blue balls ain't even real, it's like, whoa, man, like now you're just doing.
But no one said that.
Someone specifically said that we don't even know when we have blue balls. Like we don't even know. And I'm like, we know when the fuck we have blue balls. Like,
no, y'all don't. Some guys don't. I'm telling you, some guys don't.
We don't know. Well, when we feel the pain of blue balls,
I'm telling you that some guys will use just the fact that they have a heart. Listen to me. Let's just listen. I'm just telling you. Some men do not understand what blue balls actually means. I'm not saying you don't. I'm saying that there are some men who do not clinically understand what it is. That's all I'm saying. Some men think that because you got a hard on and now you're soft, that you're going to get blue balls. That is not necessarily true. That is all I'm saying.
You're right.
That is all I'm saying.
But what I said was we know when we have it. We have it, not when we're going to have it, not the fear of getting it. We know when we have it. When your balls hurt, and I don't know what the pain of a period is, and I'm not going to belittle it. I'm going to say blue balls hurts. It is a pain. You know when you have it. I'm not talking about when you might get it or how you might get it. When you go through blue balls, I gonna sleep off blue balls. I got to go to sleep. I'm going to sleep now. My day is over. I'm out. You know what I'm saying? I haven't had blue balls as a teenager. Right. But when you say we don't know when we have it, I know what you're saying. You're saying that some people just assume that since my dick was hard, we didn't fuck, I'm going to get it. That is not what I ever said. I said we know when we have it. So when you get it, you do know. And that was the disconnect there. Because when your balls start hurting, you know something's wrong. And it's an excruciating pain. And it doesn't give a man, or men don't get it. Well, I guess men could get the balls. I had blue balls when I was in high school. So I think we don't get it. I don't fucking know. But it's not an excuse, and you can't use that as a tool to manipulate.
And that was the message of the meme.
Right, but the thing about it was, you got to be held accountable to how you say it. I really don't care what anyone thinks. If you say it the wrong way, then you said it the wrong way.
But how is it said wrong?
When she said that blue balls is just an excuse that men use, that's bullshit. It ain't just an excuse. Blue balls is a condition that happens to men.
But it's still
but it is not just. But it's not just an excuse. That was her term, her words. Blue balls is just an excuse.
Because that has nothing to do with the woman. So why are you telling me about your blue balls?
I'm telling you that.
So yes, it is just an excuse to get in my panties. Because you might have blue balls, but it has nothing to do with me.
When I tell a woman, I disagree with that. To me, that's bullshit. If we're fucking around, like what I started doing in high school, I started telling ladies like this, like, because some girls like to kiss all night. I know that's gonna hurt. I know I'm gonna be in physical pain if you do that. So I tell her like, you gotta do that. I'm not kissing all night. I know what that's gonna lead to for me.
See, that's accountability for you as a man. Good job.
Right, but some women, you can say that shit when they're like, no, this is seeing, and then they'll sucker you into it and then stop you at the end, and you're like, yo,
that's not right
discussion. Either. Right, but that's my point. But we go through that too, and I'll be offended if you say I'm all lives matter in it, because we go through shit too, and I'm getting a little sick of every time we speak of our side of the story. We just gotta shut the fuck up and let you just say whatever you want. Like, nah, we go through shit too. It is a 50-50 thing. You know what I'm saying? We're admitting our culpability in it, but women aren't admitting theirs, and that's becoming annoying. Like this isn't the bash men party, and now women get to just say whatever for the next 10 years. That ain't what's gonna happen. Get over it. We are making steps to correct our bad behavior, but what we don't want is to be taunted while we're making the steps. And that's what I'm speaking to. The meme was written poorly. The sentiment was correct. I agree with the sentiment the way you guys explain it, but I think the meme was written poorly.
I think it focused on one word, and I will just
But
say
it's
this.
in it. But it's a
I
word in the
will just
meme.
say
And she
this.
should have
I
put it
think-
in there. What the fuck?
I think that there are some
oppressor does
times
not get to
where
tell you
I ain't the
about
oppressor.
it.
I ain't the oppressor. I get to say what the fuck I want.
you're being the
I
oppressor
get it.
right now.
Well, then
but I
be
will just
oppressed,
say this.
women. Be
I feel,
oppressed.
Oh wow. Okay.
Be oppressed. I'm
So
And
sorry.
that's
I do
exactly
feel
how I
like-
feel.
And like you're
This is
not
how
gonna
you
have
get to
it.
that
You're
point.
not gonna have it both ways. You're not. I don't care. You're not. The meme was poorly written. Period.
No.
I support
We
the
will just have to
sentiment.
agree to disagree on
Okay.
that. And
we will.
what I was going to say is that sometimes I think the message is presented to y'all in an uncomfortable way to get the conversation started.
Mhm.
You don't have to like how the message
Nope.
is portrayed,
Nope.
but you are getting the message.
Yep. Because that is exactly how All Lives Matter does stuff. It's like, we don't like how you're saying it, but just screw it because we have problems too. And that is what we mean is because you're talking about, well, we have problems too. Yes, we know that you have problems, but that's not what we're talking about right
But
now.
see, I think the important, probably the most important thing I can say with relation to this particular topic, because I think it's an important one, is when you are communicating these messages, when you are memeing, when you are posting this shit on Facebook, when you are saying these things to the men of your lives, what is the goal? Is the goal to increase awareness and promote understanding, or is the goal to vent your frustrations? Because that is a legitimate question. Because if the goal is both, I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to tell you from years of counseling, I'm going to tell you from years of working with relationship counselors, I'm going to tell you from years of being on this earth. If you come at me with both of those agendas in a single statement to vent your negative emotions and to try and increase my awareness, you are not going to get both of those at the same time. You just are not. And that is the way human beings work. Period. Point blank. That is the way all human beings work. Male or female. You cannot insult me to get me on your side. That is just the way it is. And that is the point. And if we are going to communicate with each other that way, then you have to know this is not a black-white thing. This is not a male-female thing. This is a human-to-human thing. If you attempt to reach understanding by initiating with an insult, then you have already failed. And that is the point. You cannot do that because you are not promoting communication then. You are venting
So if
your
we're
emotions.
telling you the truth, then that's not okay?
That's not. But nobody said it.
No,
Nobody said that.
I'm not saying that you guys said that because the thing is that y'all are talking about, oh, you're insulting us. But if the insult is true, then is it a problem?
But I don't think the insult is a lie. Blue balls is not just an excuse that men use.
Number one.
I'm not talking about that.
That's all I'm talking about.
Hold up. Time out for a second because insult. I don't consider the truth an insult because
Okay.
because
So
an
when
insult,
so
an
when we
insult
said
is
that
an
black men are the
invective.
white men, the white people of the black people, you guys got insulted, right?
That was an insult.
That's
You
not
called
an
me-
insult.
How can you
Because
determine
when we
whether or
tell
not
you
I am
that,
insulted?
but that's what I'm asking.
Were you not insulted?
Were you not? You were insulted, right?
I was insulted.
Okay, but the truth of it is that oftentimes black men act as the white people do to our culture, ignoring the problems of the subgroups of black people, of gay people, of transgender people, of
Black
women.
women.
That is what we are saying. And if you are insulted by that, then change it because it is a truth.
But I
And it's
can't.
not my fault that it's the truth.
But I can't change that about me if I don't understand that was me. And by starting with that, you didn't start with something that was directly related to me.
It is
you
directly related to
but
you.
So you called me white, but
I
you
didn't call you white. I said that you behave as white people do
We're
within
not
the
gonna
black
sit.
community.
We're not gonna sit here and wordplay insults because an insult is in the eye of
That,
the
but
beholder.
all I
And
ask,
not-
JB, is
not-
the truth. If it is the truth an insult?
The truth can be an insult.
That's all I'm asking, is that the truth can be an
If you
insult?
can't say, wait, but damn, you looking fat these days, you need to go to die. Could be the fucking truth.
Okay.
But why say it that way? That's some
Okay.
bullshit.
That's
That's
not-
like,
see,
man,
that's
you
not
fucked
the
up
truth.
today. It could be the truth, but goddamn, is that the best way to say it? Like, no. Like, there's a lot of shit that can be
Thank
said.
you for
Like,
pointing
we're in a
out,
fucking,
man.
like,
Thank
this is
for pointing
bullshit
it
that
out.
y'all are doing. If I come to you and say some fucked up shit about you, it could be true. Why the fuck would I say it that
Thank
way?
you.
Like my
Because
nigga,
you were
like, come
intending to
on.
insult that
So
person.
no,
That's
listen. Okay,
bullshit.
no.
This
I'm
is
gonna ask a question.
bullshit.
Let me ask a question. Because when we come to you and we do it the right way and we say, well, we really have this problem, and then they say, no, fuck that. That's not a problem. You don't have a fucking problem. Okay, no. Why? Because this has been my life. This has been my life. So don't you dare tell me that men have not told me that this is not a problem. Because I have very many times tried to tell me, well, you don't pay attention to women problems. You don't pay attention to gay problems. You don't pay attention to this. Well, fuck y'all. You ain't got no fucking problems. What the fuck you talking about? Black men out here getting murdered in the streets. Fuck y'all. That's what I've heard. That's what I've heard personally on Facebook. So yeah, if I need to say some fucking rude shit to make y'all think about it, cool. Put me down for
Sometimes
it.
you
I have no
always gonna
problem.
like the way the message is
Exactly, and
presented.
that's why I say the
You're not
oppressor cannot
always
tell
gonna
the
like
oppressed how to complain. I don't care what you say about it, and
But-
you can
but
say that you're not the oppressor. And I know that that's
as the
associated with white
oppressor.
people.
I'm not
No.
gonna eat that. I'm not gonna eat that though.
And that's
I don't-
on you, and that's how revolutions go about. So that's
no,
fine.
but again, we're not talking about a revolution here because I'm on your side, and that is the distinction, and that is the issue. Like, okay, so again, perfect example. Going back to New's example, you fat as fuck. You need to lose weight. I'm gonna say, well, shit, damn, like, why the fuck did you say that way? Now I might have gained 40 pounds in 2 days. You know, I might have packed on 5 Big Macs this morning.
Okay.
Right? I'm still sitting there saying, God damn, yeah, I have gained weight. But at the end of the day, it was not your intention to tell me that I gained weight. It was your intention to call me a fat fuck because those are the words that you used. And as the one who is receiving those words, and again, this is my
Are you talking
goddamn...
about perception? You perceived that was what you wanted to do?
No. I'm talking about the way people accept invective in all
So perception.
circumstances. In all circumstances, invective will be responded to with a defensive reaction. So if your goal, and again, that is why I'm saying, understand what your goal is first, right? Because if your goal is to promote awareness, then you need to let go of the invective and the insults. Because you jump out there and you say that, you got my attention, I'm offended. You can't be mad at me for saying that I'm offended. Because at the end of the day, I'm still listening.
I'm not mad at you that you're offended.
Yes, you are.
No.
Because you're
I'm
asking
not.
me to accept that offense.
I'm not telling you
Yes,
that.
you are.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
I'm telling you that I'm telling you that you can say all you want about how you want to be told that you're wrong, but I'm telling you that you're wrong in my terms because I'm the one who's wrong.
I'm going to tell you that I'm wrong in my terms, though, and my terms are not going to be yours.
Okay, but let
And
me
the
ask. So we're gonna
position
go
of
along with the fat fuck thing, right? There are literally people who are paid to tell people that they fat as fuck. There are literally shows based off of the fact that you fat as fuck. There's literally those shows, and there are people that get up and say, you know what, you damn right, I am fat as fuck. Let me get my ass in the gym. So if some of y'all motherfuckers need to be told you fat as fuck in order to get your ass in the gym, cool. Let me tell you, I'll tell you.
But
fat as fuck.
you know when you don't insult a fat man? You know when he's on the treadmill.
That's
Thank
fine.
you.
That's when you don't
That's
insult a
fine.
fat man.
That's
And that
fine.
is my
But the thing is y'all want to come in and you can say you're on our side, and I know y'all are on our side, and I appreciate that. But when y'all come onto my status, or when y'all come onto something and say, well, no, men have this have a problem with this, we ain't talking about that right now. I'm not talking about that. And the thing is that I'm tired, and I've been saying this on the show for weeks now. I am tired of people when I bring up a subject, and this happens all the time. This is all lives mattering. This is what it is called to me. When I say it's a problem, and somebody say, well, this is a problem because I have a problem with this, and we ain't talking about that right now. We are talking about this specific problem of tween girls being told that they must open their legs because tween boys have blue balls, which is just an excuse at the moment. That is what we are talking about. And as a woman who has been a tween girl, and then when you come on my stage and you have an issue with that, to me, that's an issue with the message. To me, you're attacking the fact that this is something. Fuck what you have to say, honestly. That's how I feel about it. Because the problem is that there are tween girls. There are tween girls who are being pressured into sexual relationships with men that do not have business doing it. And this is grown men as well as tween boys. Because there are 20-year-old, 30-year-old men who are going into high schools and taking these 15-year-olds. So my problem is when you want to come up and bring up something as silly to me in this particular respect as blue balls, I don't care. We are talking about tween young women who are being abused. So I don't care about blue balls at this moment. It is not important to me because if I have a daughter, I don't give a fuck about your blue balls. It's too bad, baby, go home. So when you come on my status and you want to defend that particular thing and make a thing about just, yeah, I'm going to attack you. Because to me, you're not on my side. To me, you're saying, well, fuck what your issue is. I want to talk about this issue. That's what I have.
But that's inaccurate. Now, the niggas that come on that joint, like, well, the niggas that come on there, and I've seen it from a different perspective, and I never jump in those parts. When I see somebody say some out-of-pocket shit, either I correct them, or if y'all correct them, I let it go. But what I said was, and it's become kind of redundant, but what I was saying was, blue balls is actually a real thing. And I was met with resistance that it was almost a question as if it was real. I'm like, yeah, it is a real fucking thing. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it actually is. It does actually hurt. So my point, and that was, if that lie wasn't attached to the meme, then it would have been received differently, I think. Some niggas ain't gonna receive it, period, because they just on their bullshit, and it just is what it is. We'll reach them at some point. But it's like,
So when somebody says, she ain't coming because she's just tired, she might be tired, but it's still just an excuse, right? Like, oh, she didn't come to class. It's just an excuse she didn't come to class because she's tired. Well, she might have been fucking tired, but she still didn't come to class. You know, like, so to me, the just word is what you're so zoning in on is, well, it ain't just that. Yeah, okay, it might, blue balls is still a real thing, but it can still be just an excuse.
I agree that it can, okay.
So do you see what I mean? It's just an excuse. It's a way of the English language. You're looking at a vehicle of the English language and focusing in on it and saying, well, you're saying that blue balls ain't real. No, we're saying that it's being used as just an excuse. I never said that it's not real. I'm just saying it's being used as just an excuse. So that's what I mean. So that's what I mean when you come on my status, you want to talk about that in a vehicle of the English language and basically say, well, blue balls are real. You're not talking about something that I'm even talking about. We're not even on the same page, same chapter. We ain't even in the same book right now. I'm talking about sexual abuse of tweens. You're talking about blue balls. I don't want to talk about blue balls. So now I'm upset. Now it's fuck you. And honestly, I apologize for being so upset, but I also had a couple of your brothers on there. I ain't gonna mention no names, but you know who you are, and you're trifling. Okay? Because some of your brothers is out here perpetuating rape culture, and I got a problem with it. So yeah, sometimes when I'm already kind of being poked at as a bear, sometimes the next poke is going to make me lash out. And I apologize to you. And I apologize in advance if that happens again. But don't come on my status talking about something that don't matter to me. When I'm talking about tween girls or any woman's issue, I put that out now on everything. If I'm talking about woman issues and you want to come on my status and make a joke, please do yourself a favor. Please don't do it. Please just block me off. Just don't do it, because I'm not here for the games anymore, because this is serious stuff. So that's why I went off on you about the blue balls thing, because to me, it did not matter. It's a non-issue, and it is a non-issue.
In terms of a woman's decision-making process, it's frankly, it's not even relevant, because your body is your own to do with as you see fit, and you know, your choices are related to how you interact with whomever you're dealing with at that particular time, right? Whatever they're going through, you know, that doesn't really, you know, whatever physical, whatever they're going through or even claim to go through doesn't need to be relevant to that decision-making process, and I agree with that. You know, there are situations, however, where we get stuck on communication issues, and I think that is why this conversation is good, because the goal is to transcend those communication issues. The goal is to be like, oh, you know, y'all niggas are fuck niggas and fuck you, and it'll be like, ho, okay, let's back it down and let's look at what led to that emotional outburst. Let's look at what led to that invective so that we can move forward. So it does not require that level of you know, whatever, to reach out to us. That is my goal. I don't want you to have to insult me to reach me. I never want you to have to insult me to reach me. So if you feel like you did so, and I'm keeping it absolutely 100, if you feel like you needed to say that thing to get my attention, then that's something that we have to fix, because you shouldn't have to do all that to get me to listen. Right?
Sometimes you have to.
But sometimes you have to.
I think, but in social media, you guys aren't assessing your audience. You're just doing it that way because you're posting a meme. So you didn't write the shit. You're just putting it out there. And what we're saying is, now, because the truth of the matter is, keep it a buck. And I was reading on Patty's status, your status. I'm reading it.
Mm-hmm.
The niggas that you're trying to reach, the niggas that are totally lost, none of your venom is gonna make it through any fucking way. So you're wasting your fucking time. The niggas that are actually willing to listen are being turned off by your message. So the niggas, like the people y'all are mad at, it don't matter how you say it. They're like, fuck you anyway. So you're not reaching them.
Is it fostering conversation?
Is it
fostering conversation?
Well, it's not fostering
because when we
conversation
mentioned
that's
it
leading
before,
to
it was
change.
not having a conversation.
It's not fostering because the niggas.
Look at what's going on right
niggas that I'm
now in the
talking to-
media, in the sexual assault. All these people coming out about sexual assault. I think it is making a difference.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say it may not be right at that moment that
Yeah.
the message gets to them, but
Uh-huh.
it could lead to some progress
Yes.
down the line.
That's what it
They
is.
may not hear us right now, but they will hear us later.
Yes.
Okay.
And sometimes you have to be
Well,
able to break through the armor at first. And sometimes you
I
have
hear
to
that.
punch
I hear
through.
that. I
But
hear
once
that.
the
I hear that.
armor's down, once you've broken through the armor, then how do you proceed? And that is my question.
Well, hopefully they're having
But
conversations.
they
along
continue
along
the insults.
road.
That's the thing.
That
The
is
insults
my
never stop.
concern.
Because
That
I
is
made a
my
whole
concern.
post like, look at this Charlamagne the God video. I talked to Melvin and Lex about this, and we've been dealing with this on the show, and it's something that we've been talking about, and I agree with 100%, and I think it's something you got to work on. And then Mel came in and told like, well, what about the meme? You still agree with the meme?
Right.
And I was like,
we
no,
just
I
had
don't
a
agree with the
whole
fucking
other
memes.
conversation about
Like,
the
no,
meme.
I don't. But that whole thing that you don't get it at all. And it's like, yeah, I don't agree with the fucking wording in the meme. It doesn't mean I don't get it at all. But your attitude was, I don't get it at all
I said you
anymore.
still don't get it.
At all. And then you jumped
didn't
in.
say at all.
Well, she said at all. One of y'all said at all. And I was like, you can't do that. I'm the nigga that made the fucking post. You know what I'm saying?
That's not
Like,
just because you made the post doesn't mean you 100% get it. You can still get part of it. That doesn't mean
And,
you
it's,
get
and that's
all of it.
okay.
But
and
we're
that's
not
okay.
saying that you're wrong for that. But we're saying we're trying to expose you to.
I'm saying that I'm never going to agree with the meme. I don't give a fuck what you think or how you feel. Move on. This conversation ain't
And
going
then there's
nowhere.
that.
This
Right.
conversation ain't
Right.
going
So
nowhere.
right
I
back
don't
to
agree with the
start.
meme. And if me not agreeing with the meme means I don't support women's issues, then that's your ignorance can lead you down that path. I'm going to continue to support and continue to do what I've been doing for the bulk of my fucking life. And because you think that I don't like the meme, but I don't support it, that's just your ignorance. And you got to live with that. I'm moving on. And I'm talking to niggas and making changes and talking to women and doing what I got to do. And you'll be in the minority thinking that I don't agree because I didn't like the wording of a meme.
Just talk to
Well,
each
just
other
like
about
you've
blue
made
balls.
progress along these other women's issues, maybe something will evolve down the road.
I'll never agree with the meme.
Okay, that's fine.
It doesn't stop me from wanting to help, but I'm not rocking with that meme.
Make sure that you talk to your twin about blue balls.
I do. I think the most important person to talk to about that is the young dudes. Just because you got blue balls, just because you're in danger of getting it, doesn't
Don't
mean
use
you have
it
the
as just
right.
an excuse
Absolutely.
And
to
it
get
doesn't
to
mean that
Absolutely
you have the
right.
right to pressure a woman
Thank
to
you.
have sex with you.
Thank you.
Like
Thank
when
you.
I started doing it, because I got blue like 2-3 times, and I was like, I ain't getting this shit no more. I started telling girls, you kiss, hey, for the record, I'm not fucking kissing you all night. And this ain't what happened. Blue balls is real. Yeah, I thought it was a rumor when I was 12. I'm 13. This shit is real. I'm not going through that pain. So we can stop and watch some fucking movie or play some video games, or we can keep going. But I'm not doing this keep going stop shit. I'll leave. I'll get the fuck up and get the fuck up out of here. I'm not playing this game with
Yeah,
you.
I'll see
You
you
will
tomorrow.
not put me
Yeah.
in that kind of pain. And I think that, and I'm sure I would have to think. I believe that at some point I had to be like, you can give me blue balls. I've always considered myself way too attractive, way too much game after you use some bullshit to get some pussy. But I'm like, that shit real. You're really going to physically hurt me. So we need to stop or we need to go all the way. But I'm not doing this in between shit. Cause I don't want to feel that pain. It is a real fucking pain. And I do know. So that was the alarm which says that the show is fucking over. The show should have been over a half hour ago.
And then
But
he's an old man.
and I'm an old man. But I do appreciate the conversation. We're working towards a common ground. Don't know the best way to get there. I know that I'm working towards that, and I know that they're working towards that.
it's important for us to keep having these conversations.
And
That's
conversations
the
are
only
huge.
way that change is brought about, for us
Yes.
to have these uncomfortable
Communication
conversations.
is
Yes.
essential in this
Uncomfortable,
situation.
uncomfortable conversation
Mhm.
that might
Keyword
make you
is
mad,
uncomfortable. Yeah.
and that might make you. But
It's
did you
gonna
know
make
that's
you uncomfortable. In order for change to happen, it's
Mhm.
gonna make you uncomfortable.
And that's how you know it's a good conversation and that you're changing stuff. It's because you're having the uncomfortable. You know, yeah, change is uncomfortable. Anything change is comfortable.
You got to stress in order to grow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Shoot,
So-
freaking caterpillars melt before they
Yeah.
become butterflies. They melt. Look it up. They melt. I promise you. Look it up. Caterpillars
Yeah.
melt before they become butterflies. It's crazy. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you pregnant and the baby.
Nope,
and-
stop.
Don't
Stop.
do that.
Stop.
Okay, so
Retreat.
let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up. Literally wrap it up all the time. You know. Okay.
So we have our heated discussions, but they still love me. That's abundantly clear.
Anyway, yeah. So
Okay, are we going now?
This is so awkward.
I guess this is.
I'm like, are we going?
Wait,
That's
hold on.
surprising.
Am I doing
This
this?
shit look
I'm sensitive.
uncomfortable. This shit look uncomfortable.
So we out. We know we here every Sunday at 7. We'll be back. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for tuning in. We did a whole extra half hour, and you guys stayed with us the entire
Thank
damn
you.
show.
Thank
for
you.
that.
It was
We
such a
appreciate
good.
it.
It was
Yeah,
a really
thank you
good
for the
show.
comments. The comments were really good. We didn't get to all of them.
Yeah.
We were
But,
talking
like,
to you goddamn much.
Fantastic. Yeah, we were heated up here, y'all. So, but yeah, great comments.
Good
Keep it up. Like,
conversation.
wow, it was
Yeah.
really good. It was
Share
really
it
good.
again.
Share this video
Yeah.
Share
more
it.
than
It's
probably
important.
any other
It's
because
important.
of this
It's
conversation.
Yeah.
important.
This-
And tell people to wait till the whatever minute mark, you know, because you know
Yeah.
people don't have a patience.
It's
Yeah.
The last hour.
Towards the last
it's
hour.
after 53 minutes. It's 53 minutes and
It's
12
like
seconds.
8:30 on, so
It was a
yeah.
pressing button. It was attention.
Bullshit. I mean, between that issue, between the rape culture and the other one before that,
It sounded right.
Oh shit.
Child support.
Yeah,
Those
child
are two
support.
really-
Hell of a
Yeah, child
discussion.
support
Yeah.
and
Hell
yeah,
of a
like
discussion.
yeah.
Hell of a discussion.
Can we put
tonight,
in the comments like what?
Yeah,
what
we
was
gotta
started
do
out?
that.
We'll put that in
Yeah.
the comments.
Yeah,
But
we
share
gotta
it.
do that.
Tell people like if you can just like go through it.
Second half of the show was a monster, yo.
Yeah, it
Gotta
was.
check
It was.
that
It
out.
was good. It was good.
I may actually, when I edit it, because we put the show up in 2 parts, I may put the first part up leading up into the child
child
support
support
discussion.
discussion.
And then that's part 2 will be the child support and rape culture.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we'll put it together. Some kind of way I'll separate that. So that can be a segment. Then we'll tweet it out. It's be on our Facebook page. We'll put it on our Man's Hey, Black Planet, Christian Mingle. We all don't have Christian Mingle. Alexis is the only one with a Christian Mingle. We'll put it on her account. So Pandora, Alexis, and Christian Mingle. And we'll put it up.
Because I'm
Right.
a Christian.
No, you're not. High five. Friend hands, high five.
I was gonna say.
Friend
You look at our profile. What is ASAP Ferg say?
Alhamdulillah.
Yo, I noticed Jay-Z said Alhamdulillah in some song.
He said it in the
I was like, hey! I was like, get with it. Okay, sorry, all you.
Peace to the gods and the earth, all the positive people in the universe, 5% nice and UMA. So see Allah.
As
Today's
the only
last-
Christian on the show, apparently, God bless you all.
I believe in God, you know, just not Jesus, but you know, blessings and love. I believe in love.
I'm spiritual.
All you need
Come on,
is
man.
love.
Jesus was the baddest motherfucker
All you
around.
need is love.
Jesus was the
Love
baddest
is just
motherfucker
me.
out there. Come
I
on, the
was
ultimate
made for loving
revolutionary.
you, baby. You were made for loving me. The only
I don't know why I like showing y'all the lights in the setup. For some reason, I like doing that. We appreciate
Oh my
y'all.
God, I need to watch
I don't know
my
why you
library.
like showing up my dirty house either.
Appreciate y'all tuning in.
He's like, look around.
Share the video, share the video, share the video. New to Mayor Righteous Ratchet.
Yeah, everyone, let's look at JB shit.